Manipulative people thrive on the power that they derive from controlling the emotions and actions of others. And unfortunately, this is a very common scenario for those of us who are highly sensitive. We often find ourselves unknowingly in relationships where we feel like something is off, in one-sided relationships where we start to lose ourselves. We feel controlled, stifled, suffocated, and enmeshed. So I've structured this topic into parts 1 and 2. So in this first video, I'll be discussing how you can identify manipulative behavior. And in part 2, I'll be discussing how you can cope and how you can put an end to manipulative behavior. Manipulation is a powerful strategy used by controlling people to get their way with us. And a manipulative person will attempt to coerce you via threats, intimidation, domination, and guilt. Manipulators are very persuasive, and they're experts at turning things around, explaining things away, justifying, rationalizing, and minimizing. Basically anything to get their way with you. They will demand sympathy, so they'll either accuse you for not caring enough or for caring too much. They often resort to verbal abuse, explosive anger, or other intimidating behavior to exert their superiority and their dominance. And some manipulative people simply want to make your life harder because they're not happy with their own life. And they'll use threats and guilt instead of reason and logic. And manipulators will always blame you for their feelings. They'll use self-pity, withholding, and even a fake politeness. Manipulators will also control you through positive reinforcements. And what that means is that they will praise you, they'll use superficial charm, a fake sympathy, also known as crocodile tears. They will excessively and insincerely apologize, bribe you with gifts and money, and you'll observe the use of facial expressions such as a forced smile or a fake laugh. But the most powerful weapon that a manipulator will use against you is messages of guilt and shame. And this is usually done in an indirect way. So they'll take advantage of you by playing the victim. And they'll insist that you obey guilt-inducing statements such as the following. How could you do this to me after everything that I've done for you? If you really loved me, how could you abandon the family like this? You know how it turned out last time when you didn't listen to me. And a big red flag is if they use the fact that they care about you to control your behavior. So you'll hear things like, I do it because I love you. So they use obligation to control you and to make you do things that basically are for their benefit only. They have little or no regard for your preference or for your choice. And this is the basis of all one-sided relationships. It quickly becomes very obvious that love is not their primary motive, but rather that control is. A manipulator will often feel hurt and offended, not because you intentionally hurt them, that's what they want you to believe, but rather they feel hurt because their attempt at controlling you has failed. So remarks like, I never thought a daughter of mine would be behaving this way. You must really have a spiritual problem if you're acting this way. So people who say these things to you want you to feel guilty about your choice. They're basically trying to make you feel bad for deciding how you will spend your time, your resources, about individuating from your family or for another group, or simply trying to make you feel guilty for you wanting to have your own life. So they see your individuality or your wanting to think for yourself as a threat. And there are varying degrees to manipulative behavior, some seemingly innocent and some intentional. And what will reveal their intention is their response to when you confront them. All intentionally controlling, abusive manipulators will react with anger and hostility, whereas someone who loves you and respects you will consider your feedback. Intentional and abusive manipulators will propagate an atmosphere of fear, of doom and gloom, so they will be manipulating you by making you fearful. They may also rush you to make a choice or a decision, so you don't have time to think about how you feel. or they may drop subtle hints or ask questions that will make you doubt the way you feel, to disorient you whether something is true or false for you. So if what I just mentioned has resonated with you, in part 2, in the next video, I'll be sharing some really excellent tools of how you can empower yourself, how you can put an end to this manipulative behavior, and how you can start taking back control of your own life.